Have you ever been bullied in school or at work? This distressing experience is unfortunately familiar to many. Sadly, this is still all too common to gang up on people and make them miserable and unhappy. I wish we could banish this dreadful behavior forever. It's crucial to remain resilient in the face of such nastiness. Today's story echoes a similar sentiment, showing how evil breeds more evil, and reminding us that not all bullies go unpunished. Hello and welcome back to the next episode of my Japanese horror playlist, where we explore Japanese creepypastas, urban legends and horror stories. These tales often reflect deep cultural aspects, sometimes mirroring the societal issues like bullying and revenge. In Japanese culture, a fascinating and terrifying figure embodies these themes: the onryo. This term refers to a type of spectral entity commonly recognized as yurei or ghosts. These vengeful spirits are believed to have the power to harm the living as a form of retribution for injustices they suffered. Their wrath can manifest in many ways, from physical harm to causing natural disasters. Typically depicted as female figures, onryo are driven by intense emotions from their past: trauma, envy, disappointment, bitterness, or profound anger. In death, they seek to rectify these wrongs through acts of revenge, often portrayed as ruthless and heartless. Doesn't it sound like the best premise for a ghost story? In today's episode, we dive into a story about one such onryo, a figure woven into many Japanese urban legends, stories, movies, and computer games. It's called the vengeful spirit of Teke Teke. In one of the northern regions of Japan, in the middle of the bustling city, there was a quaint little train station. It was a place where the rhythms of daily life converged and commuters hurried to catch their trains, lost in their own worlds. Among these commuters was a young woman named Kaito. She was quiet, introverted, and often lost in her thoughts, making her an easy target for the bullies at her school. Kaito had recently transferred to a new school, and from the moment she arrived, she felt like an outsider. Her classmates, with their close-knit friendships, didn't welcome her. They whispered behind her back, mocked her clothing, and ridiculed her quiet nature. They took an evil pleasure in her suffering, enjoying her tears and pain. Kaito often felt like she wanted to be invisible, like she only lived half a life and was only half a person. Every day was a struggle, and Kaito found solace only in the bustling hum of the train station. It is uncanny that we often find privacy in most crowded places, where hundreds of people are rushing by, minding their own business, and no one is paying attention to you and your worries. This crowded station provided her with a sense of belonging and privacy she needed so much. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the platform, Kaito waited alone for her train. Her heart was heavy with the weight of the day's bullying. Unbeknownst to her, her tormentors from the school were lurking nearby, plotting another cruel prank to humiliate her. As Kaito stood on the deserted platform, lost in her thoughts, the bullies approached. They sneaked up behind her, their laughter echoing in the empty station. With a sudden shove, Kaito stumbled, teetering dangerously close to the edge of the platform. Panic washed over her as she realized the danger she was in. In that terrifying moment, she lost her balance and fell onto the tracks. The sound of an approaching train filled the air, and Kaito's heart raced with fear. She tried desperately to pull herself to safety, but it was too late. The speeding train bore down on her, and in an instant her life was tragically cut short. Her body was sliced in half, separating her legs from her torso. Her tormentors that just caused her horrifying death did not show any remorse. They decided not to tell anybody of what really had happened, and pretend that Kaito committed suicide. Kaito was a quiet girl, often seen with tears in her eyes, so no one would be surprised to hear that she has ended her own life. With this in mind, they went on to mind their own business. To make things worse, the evil bunch started making jokes about her death, something along the lines of, "Now she is half as sad," or "Her coffin must have been 50% off." Days passed, and the news of Kaito's tragic death spread throughout the city. But her story did not end with her passing. Rumors began to circulate among the locals about a strange sound that is now haunting that little train station. The very train station where Kaito had met her untimely demise. The sound was described as a scraping noise, as if someone is dragging something on the ground. Teke Teke, Teke Teke. The more time has passed since Kaito's death, the more often the sound was reported, and people started to avoid the train station, especially after dark. Once the school was preparing for the official visit and the orders were given to clean it up inside out so that it shines as new for the visiting minister. Students were held up longer than usual, and it was getting dark as they left the school. The bunch of them, the group of friends that used to bully poor Kaito, decided to catch the train from the little train station as it was nearest to the school. The last rays of sun were long gone when they reached the station, and the darkness was setting in. They stood there all alone, no one else was at the station. 10 minutes left till the next train. The three friends were feeling eerie, but tried to keep up the mindless chat, when they suddenly heard a distinct sound. Teke, teke. The group of teenagers started nervously looking around, wondering what is this sound and where it is coming from. The sound grew louder and nearer. A chilling teke teke sound was echoing off the deserted platform walls. "There she is! It's Kaito!" screamed one of the girls, and then they saw her. The features of the disfigured silhouette were slowly coming into the view. It was Kaito. She was dragging her upper body little by little on the platform, and that's what was making that horrible scratching sound. Teke, teke. The teenagers panicked and started screaming in terror, seeing Kaito's torso approaching them slowly but steadily, holding a huge scythe in her hands. They tried to run, but Kaito launched herself at them with the supernatural speed and sliced each and every one of them in half. Just like her now. As they were dying in the pool of blood, they heard Kaito's laugh. Now you know how it feels to be half a person. Teke Teke's presence to this day is serving as a chilling reminder of the consequences of the mindless cruelty and the importance of empathy and kindness. Next time you feel like saying something nasty, remember about the vengeful spirit of Teke Teke. Thank you for listening, and have a nice nightmare.